Rebellions are built on hope.
And welcome to another episode of Radio Rebellion, a Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, Alberto Calderon, and thank you for joining us on another Star Wars Saturday. We made it, another week, another program, another show. How's everyone doing out there today? Thanks for joining us. Still me, Oti will hopefully be back next week. It's a lot of stuff to start talking about, a lot of news are dropping. Bad Batch is still knocking down walls, being the great show that it is, so can't wait to get Otis thought on some of the last episodes and then anything else that's happened between now and then. But thanks for joining us today. We are happy to be here again with you guys, talking Star Wars, talking the Bad Batch. A couple of news items are starting to drop, like I mentioned, so very happy. I want to hear from you guys. How's everyone doing? I'm tired. Hopefully I don't fall asleep in the middle of this, but we won't, because we have a lot of exciting stuff to get through today. We got everyone out there. Defy the Storm by Tessa Grant and Justina Ireland came out this past week on Tuesday. Haven't been able to start it yet. I was finishing the audiobook for Jedi, which we'll do a spoiler review at the end of today's show. So I haven't gotten a chance to start Defy the Storm. Might start tomorrow, might start on Monday. Just taking a couple of days off from listening to a lot of Star Wars books. I need a little break. It's a big one. You can see that it's a hefty boy. It's 450 pages, give or take. So we'll take time, no rush, and we'll set up a cool review of it once we're done. Oti was getting it early also, and we'll get on it. But how are you guys doing? If you're here, thank you for joining us. If it's your first time, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the new shows when they drop. And make sure you hit that like and thumbs up button and leave us a comment down below if you're listening to this on the audio replay. And if you're listening to us when this drops on the audio podcast later this week, thank you. And also leave us a rating, reviews, comments, subscriptions, all that stuff, anything. Just hit those buttons. Any button that pops up, just hit on it. As long as it's not a scam, you're fine to hit on that. All right, before we start, who's out there today? I see the comments. Our friend Dale is here. Hello, Dale. How are you doing, Skywalker's Academy? And Alan Ching, as always, gracing us with his present. Alan, Dale is excited for the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, both coming this year. Acolyte, we hope. There's a lot of rumors out there, unsubstantiated rumors, but good people are reporting on this. Hopefully it comes out early in the summer, I think June. So that's not too far. And then an actor that worked on, I think, 1 or 2 scenes in Skeleton Crew says he's hopeful that this comes out in fall of 2024, a year after it's supposed to have dropped. So yes, Bad Batch, Acolyte, Skeleton Crew by the end of the year. Say Tales of the Jedi Season 2, half in between. It's a lot of cool stuff. Our friend Mo is here. How you doing, Mo? It's been a while. Hola, prima. I hope you're doing well. And Brennan, page turners, the word not. Hello there. It is a great episode. It is a great week. So it's been a great week for Star Wars out there. But all right, guys, if you guys are ready, I'm not ready. Let's talk Star Wars and Star Wars news.
Star Wars news.
Cerveza cristal. Cerveza cristal.
I'm sorry. Had to do it. It was there. Cerveza Crystal. All this week has been Cerveza Crystal. I was afraid that I'll just be a bit too late because it's been a week, but it's still out there. It's overgrown Star Wars fandom is everywhere. So our new sponsor for today's episode, Cerveza Cristal from Chile. How big did that thing get, man? Cerveza Cristal. I can't believe it. It's one of the funniest things and one of the best things I've seen in a long time. But all right, Mo, it's been a minute, but yeah, don't worry. If you're here once a year, so we need Mo. You're one of our favorites. Great person out there. Love when you're here. Cerveza Cristal, we had to do it. It is a cultural phenomenon, a cultural reset. Where were you when Cerveza Crystal dropped? The New Hope Cerveza Crystal edition. We all are going to remember where we were when that dropped. But all right, first news item. And this was a surprise and I forgot even happy one to be sure is that the now maniac Lourna Dee returns with a surprise announcement of Tempest Breaker, the new audio drama from Kevin Scott. The tale finds the Jedi joining forces with marauder Lourna Dee of the Nihil. Lourna Dee will be joined by Masters, Keeve, Trennis, and Avar Kriss. This drops the audiobook. It's a full audio drama, December 3rd, and then the script and the audio physical copies drop later in the spring of 2025. Blown away by this news. This came out of nowhere, and I'm so happy because I really enjoyed Tempest Runner when it came out about 2.5 years ago, the kind of prequel, let's say, or the first book one of the Lourna Dee stories. And Lourna Dee is a very interesting character, right? Sorry, spoilers, if you've read or listened to Tempest Runner, she was part of this royal family. And then everything that happened in her life, she was betrayed by the person she loved, and her parents or a lot of her family was murdered, and then she just went into prison, was kidnapped. The Jedi tried to help her. So it's a whole thing. And then as she ends up with the Nihil. So following this up, and I've been wanting to hear more about Lourna Dee, where she's been. I haven't followed all the comics, but I know she and Avar Kriss were going back and forth where Kriss almost murdered her, and Keeve Trennis kind of stepped in to pull her back from into the dark side. So very excited for this. Again, I've been asking, where's Lourna Dee? And she's coming back in a medium that I love. As I'll say at the end when I talk about Jedi, I've been listening, I don't want to say a lot, but a couple of audiobooks, mostly in the legend stuff, which I love. Mark Thompson does a great job, but there's something about audio dramas with a full cast that just elevates any book out there. So I'm very excited for this, and that's the way that they're going with it. And of course, pairing Lourna Dee with Keeve Trennis and Avar Kriss. Avar Kriss, last we heard, she just met with, again, I haven't read Defy the Storm, but at the end of Eye of Darkness, she's on the other side of the storm wall. She met back with Elsa Man. We know with the new book we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. So where does this forwards Avar Kriss mindset when this book comes out? How are her, Keeve, and Lourna Dee gonna work together? There was an interview with Kevin Scott that he talked about some of the characters from the first book from Tempest Runners will show up. Mark and Rose is gonna have something to do with it. Give me more again. Didn't expect this to drop. This one thing I love about the High Republic. We get an announcement. We know all the books are coming, all that. We already know the names of the final novels and all that. But they still manage to surprise us, dropping little new books, middle grade, YA, and now an audio drama at the end of this, right? Because at the end of the year and then early, I think 2025 is when the last adult novel comes out. So yeah, surprise, but I love it. So I can't wait to listen to that one. So yeah, Alan, you're right. Kevin Scott finishing off with an exciting audio drama. Kevin Scott has become one of my favorite Star Wars authors. From everything he's done in the High Republic to the Dooku Jedi Lost, which is one of my favorite books out there, and now these two audio dramas, he's cementing himself as one of those Star Wars authors that those MFers don't miss, and he's one of those. So yeah, are you guys excited for Lourna Dee? And again, audiobooks are not for everyone, so I understand some people might be not bummed. How can you be bummed by something like this? But maybe would have preferred, again, a physical copy, but they're gonna release that anyway in a couple of months afterwards. So if you don't like audiobooks, you'll still get the physical copy. So it's a win-win, like people say out there. So, and talking about physical copies and physical release, sorry, I gotta edit this real quick. I just had a typo. There we go. Now we're good. Speaking of physical copies and physical release, so what comes as great news for collectors of physical media, Disney announced the upcoming release of the Blu-ray and 4K version steelbooks of Andor Season 1 and Obi-Wan Kenobi, the complete series. Again, this week was the week for surprise announcements. People have been asking for months and for years for physical copies of the Disney Plus TV shows. And a couple of months ago, they announced Mandalorian Season 1, I think Season 1 and Season 2, I think Loki Season 1. So they're starting to drop out there. But now Andor, which we've gotten no behind the scenes of Andor, except for that kind of 5 or 10 minutes that they released back in Disney Plus Day, like 2 years ago, they released that 10-minute snippet. This is the first actual behind the scenes that we're getting of Andor. And Kenobi, which is probably my favorite Star Wars show so far, just because of the character and the stories they told. And we got that Disney gallery of Obi-Wan Kenobi, but here they go more in depth. But more importantly, for all the people that are rightfully concerned with what's happening in digital media and all the streaming services, canceling shows, just removing them flat out from the streaming channels, having that opportunity to just buy the physical copies and have them for you for forever, basically, is what a lot of people have been clamoring for. So I'm extremely happy for everyone out there that's going to go and buy this, just to have the physical copies. Plus, on top of that, you throw all these special features. It's just, again, win-win for everyone. Again, we'll go through those in a little EMO. You were very excited for this. Surprised to no one, I'm still on phase 1 of High Republic. That's fine. Take your time. So many books. Most another reason why I haven't just jumped straight into Defy the Storm. For Star Wars being dead, like some people try to say, in the book format, literature, it just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming, and there's just a lot. When I was reading, it was a middle grade book. I forgot the name, so I'm looking for it right now. Where is it? I don't even see it. Again, it's so many books. Escape from Valo. Those times I haven't kept up with the comics, and all these kids are showing up like from the comics. I don't know what's going on. So understand, it's a lot to get through, but you'll get there eventually. Andor Blu-ray, Mo, extremely excited, and you as well as a lot of other people as a news, we're going to talk about Andor is coming to Star Tours. Andor, Ahsoka, and Mandalorian are coming to Star Tours. We might see someone dressed as Andor walking through Galaxy's Edge. That would be nice. And then just hold on to Mo, because she's going to trample some people if she can get to Andor, to Cassian Andor out there. But just going real quick, Andor, we have Ferrix Part 1, Imperial Occupation, which is Tony Gilroy, Kathleen Kennedy, and Diego Luna discussing how they came up with the series. The Aldani Rebel Heist, VFX breakdown of that heist, Rebel training stunts. Coruscant, Whispers of the Rebellion, explores the story of the ISB agents, Deidre, Mon Mothma, Luthen Rael. That's going to be a very cool one. The Narkina 5, One Way Out. Coming the Empire spin-off season, the Prison Stark look. Get to know Kino Loy, of course, and this one, Ferrix Part 2, Fight the Empire. Excuse me. Tony Gilroy, Diego Luna, cast and crew revealed the making of the season finale. This is a surprise. If you follow our show, you know me and Oti joke a lot about how Tony Gilroy doesn't give a crap about behind the scenes and sitting down for a Disney Galleries episode. So I'm surprised that they got him to sit down to talk about it. He's doing it in interviews. He loves the series. He loves how much he's put into it. He doesn't seem like the person to just sit down and, let me just keep talking about it to build up the brand or whatever. So I'm very surprised that Tony Gilroy is there talking about this. But hey, give us more Tony Gilroy. Going back to Star Tours. So if Cassian starts roaming Galaxy's Edge, I might get kicked out of Disneyland, says Mo. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people to help you. Alan is always at Disneyland. He can help you out, but yeah, you gotta be careful with that. And Alan said 250 new Star Tours story combination. And if Diego Luna says I'm the royal spy, I will combust. I'll be honest, I think I did Star Tours once back in like 2009 or something like that. I think I got nauseous. So I only did it once. But extremely happy for everyone out there that loves Star Tours. And if I ever are back in Disney, I'll probably go. All right, and then for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, so it's a complete series, so it's not season 1. So people took this as, that kind of puts the cash bash on season 2 coming out. That might be so. I wouldn't read too much into it. Season 2 was never announced. It was just a hope that Ewan McGregor wanted, and some of the other cast and crew. So again, they want a job. They want to come back to these characters that they love. I'm fine if it was just one season. But again, it's just series 1. We'll take it. Duels of the Fate, Obi-Wan versus Vader, Deborah Chow, Ewan McGregor headed Kriss session, examined the lightsaber battles between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. The Dark Time villains uncovered the lore of the Deadly Inquisitors and Darth Vader's iconic look. Designing the Galaxy talks about Leia's rebel psychic Lola and explores the new planets that they revealed that came up during this series. And then director's commentary joined director Deborah Chow for an exclusive audio commentary for the action-packed finale. That's also an interesting one. Director commentary are also always great. So I would love to see what Deborah Chow has to say about it. We know. Rebel spy. So what do you guys think? My question will, now that Star Wars, or I should say now that Disney, Lucasfilm, Disney Plus, whatever you want to call it, are starting to release all this physical media. I think they have a deal with Sony, so Sony's going to be doing the releases or the distribution. Is this the end to those behind-the-scenes Disney Plus gallery that we got at the end of the shows? Because we didn't get one for Andor, we didn't get one for Ahsoka. I can't remember. Did we get one for Mandalorian Season 3? I can't remember. So I don't know if this is kind of, let's stop that and let's just focus on the special features for the DVD releases. Which again, if that's what they want to do, great, because again, gives another incentives for people out there to go and buy the physical media. So we'll see. What do you guys think? Do you prefer this version, or do you it's easier to just go to Disney Plus and click play on it? All right. Oh, and both of these will release on April 30th. So basically a month and a half from now, you'll be able to hold Andor in your hands and Obi-Wan Kenobi in the other and just have them kiss or something. Whatever you want to do with the steelbooks. And the steelbooks and the inserts, they're beautiful. It's great art out there. All right, so that really does it for Star Wars news. There was something about possible casting for the Rey movie, but they're casting for 2 apprentices and a villain, and that's it. So not a lot to talk about in that sense. In that regard, I should say. Well, all right, so from there, we got to another part of our show that we love. And it's talking about the Bad Batch in Star Wars on TV.
Star Wars on TV.
No Cerveza Cristal here. I almost put it everywhere, but I didn't want to. It will be too much. Just Cerveza Cristal during the initial one. All right, so Bad Batch returned this week with The Return, episode 5 for season 3, the final season of the Bad Batch. Another good episode, another solid episode. I'll be lying if I didn't say that I was a little bit let down with the way it started. I spent a lot of time last week here talking about how I wanted, or I hope that this episode started right at the end of episode 4 with that confrontation between Crosshair and Hunter. I wanted that conversation to just happen right then and there. So I was glad that it didn't happen last week because we didn't have enough time, just leave it for this week. But it didn't. It got to either, I think a couple of days had passed. But I'm glad that it wasn't something that happened off screen. Kind of Omega tells, I think it's Wrecker, they still haven't talked about it. They're kind of keeping each other at arm's length. So I was glad it didn't happen. And it happens by the end of the episode, and it's a good conversation that they had, and they clear a lot of things. I think why I said I was let down is more my expectations of it. Even though we know that all these Star Wars animated shows are for the whole family and for different age groups, it's still geared to a younger demographic. So it wasn't going to be that like Daredevil and Punisher in that season 2, that discussion that they have in the rooftop about killing and not killing and all that stuff. It wasn't going to be that level of the conversation that maybe in my mind I set it up to be. So I'm okay that it was a little bit more toned down. It was basically 2 brothers or 2 siblings that have had a fight or are arguing and just gotta fight through it, like physically fight through it and get all their emotions out. And by the end of it, they've made up, they say what they needed to say. And that's what happened here. So it happened in a different way, a different manner that I hoped for, but it still accomplished its goal. And we'll get to that as we talk about the episode. So one thing that we see straight at the beginning, we see Crosshair's target practicing with IC. Is it IC? CI? IZ. He's missing the shots. His hand is still shaking, something that we talked about here a couple of weeks ago, that's going to play into this season. He had like a 40 or 50% hit rate, so he's still missing a lot for Crosshair. I think, again, this is going to come back to the end of the season. I think it's something that his hand is going to either falter, or is he going to be able to stable and then save Hunter or save someone at the end of the season. So I think that handshaking, again, the people that do this show, they drop a little nugget in the first couple of episodes and then it will come back at the end. So I'm glad they're still there, so it won't be a surprise when it happens. Also, again, Crosshair on Omega, this unlikely pair that this season has grown. I think it was Oti that mentioned here the first week back from the Bad Batch. Is that these are the two characters that spend the least time together in the first two seasons, especially season 2, obviously. And now we're seeing that relationship build up, like Omega saying, you're the little brother, I'm your older sister, and kind of give him a little wink. So they have a great bond already, which again, to the end of that conversation with Crosshair and Hunter. But it's more like he doesn't want to talk to me. I don't want to go talk to him. People are looking at me. They don't trust me. Just give it time. He's back. Echo's back. I've been missing Echo. He's one of my favorite. Gets a big hug. And then he's basically saying that him and Rex have been out there trying to find the other clones, trying to find where Mount Tantis is so they can rescue the clones, which again is what Omega wants to do. She said episode through episode, she was bombing this one that she left them behind. She hadn't been able to save them. They were like, the most important thing is that you save yourself. You're giving us a little bit of information on Mount Tantis. We'll figure it out. We'll try to find where it is so we can help them. And then Crosshair has the idea, or not the idea, he remembers, unfortunately, a Imperial outpost where he spent a little bit of time out in the snow that might help them with the Nala says tablet, and maybe get some information about Mount Tantis. There's a little drop of missing tech that if tech was there, you could have cracked that tablet pretty easily. Again, just kind of putting it out there. But yeah, Mo, you're right. Crosshair's battling that carpal tunnel. It comes out of nowhere. You never know. Dale saying, I think it's nerve damage from Dr. Roy's poison. There's so many things. Nerve damage, half of his brain missing, getting tortured, whatever they were doing Mount Tantis with all the blood they were taking. It's just spending days in the snow, which we go back to. So they go back to this remote Imperial base in Barton 4, which turned out to be the same place in season 2 where Crosshair gets betrayed by the Imperials, told that he had to kill the clones, so just leave them behind. When he has that kind of change of heart. And then, so he has to return here and have all these memories, and everything needs to go back to a great scene, great emotional scene when he's taking a moment to put the helmets of all the clones back. I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the clone that he helps at the end. Just putting all of them, grabbing them from the floor, putting them on top of the crate as they're going through the process of turning down the little alarm system, so they're able to reroute some power, which, as we knew for the trailers, as Wrecker reminded us, why is there always a huge monster? Great monster, great homage to Jurassic Park. Someone else posted that all the scenes about, turn off the switch and turn on the perimeter and now prime the engine or whatever, is bit by bit what they do in Jurassic Park in one of the scenes out there. So great homage for it. Talking about emotional scenes and emotional moments in a kids show, getting an armor back. Like, here you go, you're getting your old Bad Batch armor that Wrecker kept with him, always believed that his brother would return to them. Give them the armor back, still fits. Gotta color it, put a little new paint so it matches his other brothers. But we'll see. On Batcher was there sniffing out the monster, digging through the snow. When is Batcher getting that bandana? Some great art out there from Star Wars fan doing Batcher art, putting the Bad Batch bandana on him. So we have Hunter, of course, not trusting Crosshair. wants to go with him to turn back, because when the monster is going around, destroying everything, they need to kick him back out to turn the perimeter alarms. Hunter doesn't want Crosshair to go by himself, doesn't trust him, and all that. And then they start having that conversation. Why are we here? Why did you leave the Empire? Did you betray them the same way that you betrayed us? And then Crosshair basically breaks. Yeah, I betrayed them right after they betrayed me. He didn't go into it because they wanted to kill all the clones, wanted me to kill all of them. They don't care about us. So yeah, I betrayed them. I killed an Imperial officer. Are you happy now? And you're not mad with me, or you're mad at yourself because Omega, I told you about Omega. I risked my life to tell you to keep Omega out of here. They wanted to bring her here. You didn't care. You still got her into danger. She got kidnapped because of you, and she escaped with my help, not yours. So that's why you're angry at me, not because I betrayed you, it's because I saved Omega. I love that. Because we were all expecting this was going to be Hunter throwing stuff into Crosshair's face. Tech died because of you. Everything that's happened after you fled, the Empire has been chasing us. All this is because of your fault. And Crosshair just didn't even give him the chance for it. Just turn it on its head to say, no, you're angry because I'm the one that helped Omega and we're getting along. It's not you. So they had that bit of conversation. They saved each other from this huge beast. This worm with a white worm, great design. So again, regrets about joining the Empire. Crosshair saying that he was just, like always, just trying to be a good soldier. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. But the Empire is not like he thought it was going to be. It's no one cares about anyone else. And then it kind of ends with Hunter having a great connection with him, a great line, basically saying, we just need to keep trying to be better, and there might be hope for us yet. Again, kind of that redemption, right? We just need to be better day by day. Hopefully there's some hope at the end of all this. We spent a little time on Pabu, and they met with with Echo, I should say. We're going back to Pabu. Pabu, be careful. And at the end, we get that Ice Phoenix kind of representing Crosshair, and not redemption, but letting that weight, you kind of finally just putting all that weight down as the Ice Phoenix or the Ice Vulture just flies away, right? We're done here. Everything that happened here, I can put all that behind me and move forward, hopefully with the Bad Batchers again. So good episode. Not my favorite. I wasn't blown away with everything, but it was a solid episode. Again, this season so far, straight bangers, like the kids out there like to say. What were you guys' thoughts on this episode? Did it hit all the notes that you guys wanted? Was it missing anything? Or it was just a great 25-minute action episode with some deep emotional conversations peppered in, which is fine. That's where a lot of Star Wars animation excels at. So all right. Next week, I think it's a double dose. I think we get 2 episodes next week. So that's great. And then I think I checked. I'm going to talk about it next week, probably with Oti. There's like 3 or 4 episodes coming after the next 2 that I think, just if we want to start speculating about titles, it's a lot of important stuff that's going to be coming in the next couple of weeks. So we'll see. We'll talk about that next week. All right. So that does it for our Bad Batch talk. And now let's talk a little bit about Jedi, which of course I didn't write didn't? Oh, here we go. All right. Jedi, Star Wars Legend novel by Michael A. Stackpole. This came out years ago, but it's coming out, the audiobook Essential Legends Collection audiobook, I should say, is dropping March 19th, I believe, so in a couple of weeks. I was able to get an advanced audio copy of this. Again, this book is almost 20 years old, or more than 20 years old, so no spoilers. I mean, I won't be spoiling anything because it's a 20-year-old book, so everything that I'll say is already out there. But the audio version for this Essential Legends Collection is coming out in a few weeks. Thanks again to Penguin Random House Audio for sending me an advanced copy. So what can I say about I'll say not my favorite. It was like a roller coaster that went up, it's going great, and then once it takes that first drop, it just kept going down. I know a lot of people love this book. Unfortunately, it wasn't for me. So, what did I love? Sound production, sound design. You can't go wrong with Star Wars audiobooks. They have nothing to uh, be angry about when it comes to TV shows or the movies, because the music is there, the X-wings flying through every time a lightsaber turns on. I was listening with my headphones outside while I was doing my lunch break at work, and there was birds chirping, because a lot of this happens in Yavin 4, and I'm looking around, where are all these birds? No, it's part of the audiobook. So all that works great. So the story starts with Coran Horn, which is this ex-Corellian security force officer. He now had joined Rogue Squadron. So he's been helping the New Republic for a while, helping fight against pirates. And then he comes back to Coruscant and has a vision that his wife's been kidnapped. He has latent force power because his grandfather was a Jedi, a Corellian Jedi. So he has this vision that something's wrong with her, that she's being captured, she's calling his name out, so he has to go find her. But one of the pirate gangs out there, the Invits, and Tivosia Leonia Tivosia, it's the leader of this group. She's been the thorn in the side of the New Republic. No one knows where she's hiding. But he meets with Wedge and Teos, see at the beginning, Luke Skywalker. They have a conversation. They figure out that she's been taken by Leonia and the Invits, and they probably have a Force user with them, and that's who projected that vision towards Coran Horn. And then Luke Skywalker convinces him, hey, I'm starting this new Jedi Academy. I want you to be part of it. And he decides to go. So the first half of the book is him with Luke and a bunch of other recruits to start this new Jedi Order. Great! And this is something that happened in a different book, in the New Jedi Order trilogy that came out a few years before. But this is told from, I should have said, this whole book is told in first person. So we see everything through Coran Horn's eyes. We don't go to different perspectives or different things that are happening throughout the book. Now we're stuck with Coran for 20 hours. It is a very, very, very long book. You could have done this in 2 different books. It could have been the first half could have been one book with him just training with the Jedi. And then the second half could have been a totally different book because it's 2 different plot lines going on. Biggest problem I had, everything that happens in the Jedi Academy was my favorite thing. Kind of everything that's going on. The spirit of Dark Sith Lord Exar Kun has been dead for 4,000 years, come back, starts possessing the students in Luke's academy, trying to kill Luke and everyone else. Yes, very interesting. I want to learn more about this. Again, all this happens already in another trilogy of books. From what I've heard, Coran Horn it's not even in those books, so it's retconning a lot of this stuff from that original trilogy. But when the book starts going down, like I said, so by the end of this Jedi Academy training, Luke Skywalker is unconscious. Like Exar Kun almost killed him. Han Solo showed up with Leia, and Han Solo is going to go search for this kid, Keeve. I forgot his last name, Keeve, who's the one that's being possessed by Exar Kun, but he left, so Han Solo is going to go find him. Keeve took the Sun Crusher and killed the planet, so we gotta go deal with him. So 3 things: Luke Skywalker is dying, Han Solo went after Keeve, and we gotta find the Sun Crusher. All those 3 things get resolved off screen, basically. Like Coran Horn returns from doing something, Luke Skywalker's already wake up, Han Solo already had come back with Keeve, and Luke had gone with Keeve to destroy the Sun Crusher, or he didn't go with him, but the Sun Crusher got destroyed, Keeve returned, and Luke is ready to forgive him because everyone deserves to be redeemed. So these big 3 action scenes or 3 themes that they set up just get kind of brushed past in a couple of paragraphs because, yeah, that happened. Go read the other trilogy. So I'm like, really? We spend like 12 hours in the Jedi Training Academy just for all this to be resolved off screen? that to me was a mistake. At this point, Coran Horn has been going on by a different name, just so people didn't know that he was looking for his wife. His whatever was his name, Halcyon was his last name. So then he kind of basically says, I don't like the way that Luke is running the academy. I don't believe they have a good conversation about redemption after doing something wrong, because Luke Skywalker had revealed to the students that Darth Vader was his father and he was able to redeem him. So Luke believes that anyone can be redeemed. And Coran is basically saying, that might be okay for you, but this kid, Keeve Thorne, he just killed billions of people with the Sun Crusher, destroyed a planet. Just because he did one good deed in destroying the Sun Crusher, it's not enough for us to welcome him back. And Luke is, well, everyone, we need to give everyone a chance. And Horn is saying, things are not as good and evil and black and white as you say. There's different shades. So they do have a good conversation there. I'm not going to deny that there was a good part. So then Coran's like, I'm checking out. This is not for me. And he goes and decides to go back to his roots as a spy, as an infiltrator, and infiltrate the Invis to find his wife. But before that, he goes to Coruscant to find his step-granddad. And then they have this good conversation, talk about his Jedi grandfather. And then instead of going to find his wife, he says, you know what? We had a great chat, Granddad. Let's go out of the town and get into some trouble. So like most of the book, he's not really searching for his wife. He kind of forgets about her. He spends a month in the Jedi Academy, 1 or 2 days with Granddad, then months with the Invis, not really searching for his wife. So, do you even care about Mirax? Let me say her name was Mirax. Another thing that I don't understand why the author did this. Again, he's searching for his wife. He lost over every woman he meets. Every woman that Coran Horn meets, he needs to describe how her body hugged that dress that she was wearing, or her flight suit was a little bit too tight in every corner. There's a cringe scene when he's already infiltrated one of the pirate gangs, and one of the bad guys is beating up on this guy. He's, there's 2 people there, and I think the second one is younger, so she's probably a female, but probably an adolescent, because I can see how her breasts are starting to grow under her tunic or something. Like, why is this a thing? I don't know. This is just yucky. He lost over Mara Jade, that's there for some reason. He lost over this girl that Wedge Antilles was supposed to be into. He lost about Leonia Tevosia, which he spends half a chapter trying to convince himself and justify if it's okay to sleep with her in order to then rescue his wife. And do you even want to rescue your wife? So then we spend the other half of the book with him infiltrating the Invits, to then the last 3 chapters, after 20 hours almost, I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? He finally finds where his wife is. They go in, rescue her. We spend half a chapter with Mirax, and then she's gone again. We don't hear about her till the prologue. We spend more time with him destroying the statue of Exar Kun during the epilogue, I should say, than we spend with him and his wife after he's rescued her. So the whole book had 3 big things that it set up at the beginning. Training the Jedi Academy, infiltrating the Invits to find his wife, and then destroying the Invits and Leonia. Those were the 3 things. Jedi Academy thing, like I said, just ended out of nowhere. Everything happened off screen. After being kind of ogling every woman that he comes into contact with, finds his wife, Mirax, and we spend half a chapter with her. So really, why are we even searching for her? She doesn't do anything about the book. Talk about fridging a character, there we go. And then the third one was finding the leader of the Invits and bringing her to justice. She just goes, she escapes, he lets her go. And then the prologue is, a general from the New Republic will probably search for her and catch her. So the 3 things that were important in this book kind of get thrown off, kind of I can't find a way to figure out how to end this. So I'm just gonna say, yeah, someone else is gonna deal with it. So at the end, I've ended this book like, what was the point, right? Like the big things that we're trying to accomplish just kind of fizzled out when it was growing. That crescendo was growing to that point. I don't care. Someone else can deal with it. So I don't know. If you ask, I mean, my opinion, people out there might love this book, and there were some good reviews out there. People might enjoy it. So go out there and read. There's a good session. He, one point, becomes basically Jedi Batman, going out at night, looking for where that trouble is, just to bring fear to the pirates. So that was a cool scene here. There's a cool action scene against Shala the Hutt. So there's some cool stuff dropped inside the book, but in general, the main things about it, I don't know, it didn't, again, just kind of just went downhill. Keep Duron, thank you, Roman Rowlett. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for telling me the name of Keep. You're also adding, they don't happen off screen, they happen in the main series. I just the supplemental material. Exactly. So read Jedi Academy first, I believe. Like you said, you sent me a message about it. I didn't have it. So that's the problem, at least for me, since I didn't read the Jedi Academy books. This just seemed like, why am I reading this? You spend 10 chapters reading about how to deal with Exar Kun, which was the most interesting thing for me, to then just kind of end it and having to find this other trilogy, which seems to be a lot better. But again, just my opinion. This book has a lot of fans out there, and maybe I just wanted to finish it because it was a pretty long book. Mark Thompson does a great job with all the voices, as always. There's two that I wasn't the biggest fan of, but he does like 20 voices. So if there were two that I didn't click with, that's fine. But you can't say anything bad about Mark Thompson. He does a great job. And again, can I write a better book than Michael A. Stackpole? No. There's a reason he's writing Star Wars book and I'm not. I just didn't connect with everything that was going on. But again, thank you, Pingu Random House, for sending me this advanced copy. Please send me more. I'll gotta be honest. It wasn't the book for me, but there was some very cool stuff in between. And learning about Corellian Jedi, and they have a different, not view of the Force, but they try to stay close to the system. So I stay close to Corellia and that area around there, unless there's something big happening that they need their help. Then they go outside. We learn about Ninja Halcyon, who's Corran's grandfather. He was the Jedi, and we learn about him, how he died. And that's another thing that I don't know why it happened, but at the end of the book, instead of spending more time with Mirax and maybe taking care of the invites, they throw in this extra plot line with these dark force users and how Ninja Halcyon and the Jedi kind of betrayed them and how they fell into the dark side and why they're helping Leonia and why they kidnapped Miras. Kind of gets shoved in the last two chapters, kind of out of nowhere, instead of just finishing off the main storyline. That was also cool. Again, anything has to do with the Force, I enjoy thoroughly, but unfortunately, it wasn't the book for me. All right, so that does it for today's show. Again, great Bad Batch episodes, on good news, Star Wars news out there. And again, Star Wars book in iJedi. So thank you guys for joining us today. Thanks for everyone that was here. Let's start. Where's it? Ramon, thanks for joining us. Dale, Mo, Brennan, Alan, everyone. As always, thank you for being here. Hopefully, Oti returns next week, and we'll talk about all the other Star Wars news that we'll get. And of course, Bad Batch. I believe we're getting 2 episodes next week, so can't wait to talk about that. And Buck, coming at the end. I remember being disappointed by iJedi. Same here. I think it started great and then disappointed. Maybe Ramon was right. Maybe I should have. Actually, this isn't same person. Read Jedi Academy first, and then Should be better. All right, but thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. Stay safe. Be safe. If you get your hands on some cerveza crystal, take one down for me. See you next week. May the force be with you.